Welcome to the Parker Daniels Show, where amazing stories are shared.
And be hopeful, hopeful, and he'll make a way. I know it ain't easy, but that's okay.
Welcome to the Parker Daniels Show, where we make changes, no excuses. Video games for the blind. That's right, video games for the blind. We play video games also. Y'all probably don't believe that. And since y'all don't believe that, I have someone who's going to make a believer out of all of you all. His name is Harry, and he has a new invention for the blind, and it's a video game. He's here to talk about it, and I'm not going to waste any time. But before I do that, I want to say congratulations to my Tigers. I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to bring on Harry, and he's going to explain to you what he has created that a lot of blind people will definitely take advantage of in a few months to come. So what's up, Harry? How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hey man, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Oh man, thanks for being here, because like I said, I used to play video games back in the day, and the little Atari and things of that nature, and I wasn't successful, but just the joy of actually doing it was exciting enough for me. But you have created something that will allow blind people to actually be able to perform and play the game and things of that nature and do well at it. But before you do that, just introduce yourself, let everybody know where you're from and what you have going on, and things of that nature. Because we want to.
Hi, so I'm Harry Cooper. I'm the lead developer at Purple Jam Limited, and at the minute we're developing the audio game Pitch Black: A Dusklight Story. My background is in spatial sound, so 3D sound, binaural audio, and that's what sort of got me interested in this sort of project. And we've been. Go ahead.
Before you jump into that, name some of the things that you've created with your company.
Sure. So in the past, my endeavors have been more musical. Actually, this is the first audio game that we're creating. So my history is in a variety of bands and recording projects, more so than the gaming industry.
Okay. Now, what really prompted you to actually get into creating a audio game for the blind?
I've just finished studying a master's degree at university, and one of the specialties of that university is in spatial and ambisonic sound. So what ambisonic means is, instead of having just two audio channels left and right, it essentially means you've got a speaker setup that surrounds the whole room. So it's like a circle of sound around the listener's head, if you will. Now the way you recreate that for most people, because most people don't have 30 speakers in a room, they have a pair of headphones, is you use something called binaural audio. And what that does is it takes the 3D sound and using what are called HRTFs, essentially trick your brain into thinking that sounds are coming from behind or above and below you, rather than just left and right. So it's a way of getting 3D audio to a medium that everyone has, which is headphones.
Oh wow! So are there special speakers, special headphones, or anything that a blind person would have to wear?
No. So this can be done on any pair of headphones, which is why it's so exciting, because it's so accessible to anyone who owns a pair of earphones. So it's great. Okay,
so let me reiterate. So actually, when a blind person actually play this particular game, by you having the sound that you're speaking of, that's more of a 3D sound coming from various places. When a blind person actually play this game, he can determine by playing the game how to actually interact depending on where the sound is coming from in terms of what's happening. Am I correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's great. So tell us a little bit more about the game. What will it entail? And how have you tried it out on various blind people?
Yeah. So the game itself is a narrative-driven exploration game. So it features a 5 to 6 hour long storyline, which is fully voice acted, and it's set in a series of 3D explorable environments. So you can explore different locations in the game. You can move around freely. It's not an on-rails experience at all. And it also has game mechanics which are based on the psychoacoustic principles of hearing. For example, we have something called the auditory zoom effect, which is, imagine if you hear something that's really far away and you want to sort of zoom into it so it feels closer, you can really focus your hearing in that direction, and then that can help you move around. We also have things called audio signposts, which are little auditory signals that you can leave to help map out an area with sound, and lots more of that nature.
Okay. Now we're dealing with sounds and dealing with a blind person actually performing this. Mm-hmm. How effective do you think it'll be, and does it work? Like basically, like if a person was sighted, in order for them, a blind person, to play it, will they be easier? Is it easier for them to play as opposed to they have to concentrate on where sounds are coming from in order to interact with the game, or is it a fast-paced game? You see what I'm saying?
So we've done a fair bit of play testing already, and found that the most with blind and visually impaired people, and found that most play testers, after a couple of minutes of getting used to the controls, can navigate very easily, and get used to using the mechanics, and it all feels quite fluid. Obviously, it's early days yet, because we're about to launch a Kickstarter, and then there's another about a year's worth of development left on the project. But yeah, it's got a very good response so far, and people seem to know how to play it intuitively.
Okay. For the new viewers, we are speaking with Harry. He has created a audio sort of video game for the blind, where they would have to basically use their hearing, because it's set up in a 3D fashion where they have to listen to different sounds and understand where they're coming from. Again, give them the name of the company and the name of the game again.
Sure. So the name of the company is Purple Gem Limited, and the name of the game, which is where you'll find all the information, is Pitch Black: A Dusklight Story. Okay.
Now, take us through the whole scenario in terms of, if I, as a blind person, would want to play one of your games, what is the setup? Do I have to have any special controls, or what have you? Just tell me how I would actually play this particular game.
Mm-hmm. So the game's coming out on PC, Mac OS and Linux, and we're also doing a version on iOS and Android. So no console release as of yet, but it's on all desktop computers as well as on your phone.
Okay. Now, and as was mentioned earlier, in terms of actually playing the game, I would log in, and then just take us through the steps in terms of actually what would I have to do in terms of working the game itself. I mean, how they have like different action games. They have Mario. They have driving games. With this particular game, what I understand that it requires you to use your hearing, but what do you do with the in working the game?
Okie dokie. So there are a couple of different means of controlling the character in terms of gameplay.
There you go.
You either use the keyboards with the arrow keys, or W, A, S, and D, and then a variety of other keys to activate your sort of audio gameplay mechanics. Alternatively, you can use a controller with your Mac or computer, and then you use the analog sticks to move around, and the right analog stick to look around, and then different buttons for different mechanics. As regards to the mobile releases, we're still working out how to use the touchscreen interface most effectively, but that will involve a series of swipes and then a virtual analog stick to move the character around. Okay,
that's the answer that I was looking for. So with that being said, what makes you think, I'm gonna get on into this, what makes you think that by a lot of blind people, they try to play Fortnite and all these other games, what makes you think that this particular game would be something that like blind people really would adapt to and really would want to play, considering the fact that it's based on sounds and things of the nature? How do you figure that this might be something that blind people really want to try to do, because like most of them may not want to rely on their sounds, or they want to try to play other action games and things of that nature. What why do you feel that this might be something that they want?
Sure. I think perhaps the fundamental thing is audio games that are completely accessible to blind people in the past have tended to be very, very simple games, not sort of fully featured like you get in the regular gaming industry. So what we've aimed to do with this audio game is make it feel like a AAA release, as if you're playing your Fortnite, but just giving all the information through the medium of audio as opposed to visual cues. So it's a game that's inclusive of everyone, rather than being challenging for anyone with a visual impairment to play. And it's given the same amount of development time and devotion as you'd expect from a sort of a mainstream release. Okay,
yeah, definitely. That sounds like something I'd be interested in, because I love to play video games. I used to play when I was younger. So again, like, I want to ask in a different way. Your game is based on, and you fill in the blank, you're based on what? Like, is it action? Is it, do you have to figure out different obstacles to get to something? I mean, describe to the people, because they're going to want to know exactly what your game, because, what's the meaning behind. Yes.
Sure. So the main driver behind the game is the storyline. So you're put into this world, into this fully realized and voice acted world which we're creating, and so the main goal is essentially to navigate from one area to the next and explore the surrounding area. Within that, there are certain puzzles based on audio occlusion that you have to solve. There are certain narrative elements that you have to go and find and figure out where they might be, and then navigate towards them. As well as that, there's a horror level where you have to move away from something that's chasing you, and it's very spooky. So it's got a variety of factors, including some sort of action sequences where you have to move around quite quickly to get away from whatever's trying to get you.
Got you. Now, being that this is based on hearing sounds and 3D, like you mentioned, 3D versions in terms of listening to the directions of the sound. Are there any visuals, like can a sighted person play along with a blind person, or can the sighted person play just in general?
Yeah, there aren't visuals in terms of functional visuals, so all of the gameplay is just through audio. We are thinking about incorporating some art pieces just over the screen instead of having a blank screen, but they won't be functional to the game at all. But of course, a sighted person can play it because they also can listen.
Right. So in essence, is what I'm asking is on the screen is pitch black, or is it you can visually? Can a blind sighted person actually look at it? So there's nothing to look at on the screen, right? It's all audio, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Cool. So again, we are speaking with Harry, and he's created a audio game for the blind entitled, again, tell them the name of it.
So it's Pitch Black: A Dusklight Story. And I should mention that we're a team of 3 people. So I'm the lead Unity developer. Connor Harrison is the scriptwriter and narrative director and deals with all the voice actors. And then we also have Jordan Barry, who does a lot of the sound design and also all our social media marketing, that sort of thing. So with it's not just me, even though I'm the one sort of giving the interview. We're aiming for quite a shallow learning curve, I suppose. So you start off and the game's actually very easy, and then as you progress later on in the game, it becomes more and more difficult, as is standard for.
Right. Okay. And again, how let's say you're about 50% done with the actual game itself, or y'all still doing some testing? Where are y'all as far as percentage wise before you actually can put it on the market and allow people to play the games?
Yeah, sure. So the release date is set for October of next year. But we are going to be releasing demos and beta versions prior to that. And actually, when we launch the Kickstarter on the 16th, there's going to be a demo available for everyone of a very small section of the city level that we've created. So everyone will be able to give it a go on the 16th, albeit an early version.
Oh, okay, that's the 16th of this month?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, cool. And where could they find the like the Kickstarter or just a demo?
Yeah, so if you Google Pitch Black Kickstarter, we'll be coming up towards the top of the page there. And also we're on all social media as well. So Facebook, Twitter, Discord, Instagram, whatever you use will be there. And if you just search our name, we'll come up.
Okay, cool. And how has the reception been?
Yeah, great. Honestly, I've been blown away by how helpful the play testers have been and how interested everyone is. It's been a really wonderful experience to work with lots of people and make sure that it's accessible and just as good as it can be.
Okay, and off the cuff, have you tried playing it yourself, the demo yet? And what was your response about it?
Well, I mean, the thing is, I've made it along with my teammates. So if anything, it's a bit, because I know where everything is already, because I sort of put it there. It's obviously quite a bit easier for me because I've already got an idea of how to, where the things are and where I'm meant to go.
So with that being said, why don't you give everybody a little listing in terms of where they can find the game, any links that you want to give out, do that, because I find this to be very interesting, and I definitely am going to post the links in the description.
Okay, Ace. So depending on what social media site you tend to use, if you go on Twitter and search at Dusklight Pro, which is DUSKLIGHTPRO, you can find us there. If you search on Facebook for Pitch Black, A Dusklight Story, we're on there. And if you type it into Google, all of those pages should come up anyway.
Okay, definitely take advantage of. So y'all know that this is something that y'all definitely need to take advantage of, and this is for all you video game lovers out there. I wish I had more time to actually sit down and play video games, but I'm gonna definitely try this one out, and hopefully I can bring you back on here and have you set up and actually give us a demonstration, which would have been very cool. So because I know you're a busy man, but with that being said, I want to thank you for coming on the Parker Daniels Show and enlightening us about your new invention, because we as blind people definitely like to partake in the video game industry, play a lot of games and what have you. So with that being said, are there any words of encouragement, especially coming from sighted people, because I know you've dealt with some blind people because you had to get them to check out the game, that you want to leave us with?
You mean for blind people specifically, or
specifically?
I'd say don't let anything get in the way of your ambitions. I think there's, if you want to achieve something like yourself, doing this show, for instance, there's always a way to do that, and it's worthwhile pursuing things that you believe are important. That's what I'd say.
Okay, well, thank you, and I'm gonna leave on that note because my man is a very busy person. So I'm glad that I have brought you on here to let the world know what you're trying to do, and I think it's very commendable and what have you. So, Harry, again, give them the name of the game and your company as well.
Sure. So it's Pitch Black, A Dusklight Story, and the company is called Purple Gem Limited. Okay,
y'all heard it. So anyway, go out and support my man when it comes out, I guess next year, and he'll probably be on here when the date gets pretty close, and let y'all know more about the game as well. So thanks a lot for coming. And with that being said, thanks for my new viewers, old viewers, soon to be old viewers for viewing my show, and everyone else who's assisting me to get to where I need to be. And with that being said, I'm out.
hopeful for today. Take this music and use it. Let it take you away and be hopeful, hopeful